Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode here of the Artist Next Level podcast. Super happy to connect with you. And I'm here today because we're going to talk about the artist on a mission. Yes, the artist on a mission is a topic that I've been talking about, particularly in my YouTube channel, in my podcast, when I meet with artists and so on. And today I invited an artist, Robert Bek, who has worked with that framework of the artist on a mission to create his own mission statement. And we're going to talk about that, how he came, with the idea, how he put it together, and, at the end, how it has helped him in his own art career in order to understand his art better. His name is Robert Bek. He's joining us from Brunswick, Maryland, in Washington, D.C., and we're going to have a great chat, so don't go anywhere. My name is Sergio Gomez. I'm an artist, curator, gallery owner, author, and co-founder of the Art Next Level program. And my goal with this channel is to make marketing and art business easy so that you can grow your art career, find new opportunities, sell more art, and spend more time creating in the studio. So if you like that, make sure you click on the subscribe button and click on the little bell so that you receive notifications of our future videos. Hey, Robert, good to see you. How are you?
It's good to see you too. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for accepting my invitation. It was one of those things that we haven't met really in real life. You sent me a message after you watched one of my YouTube videos on, finding your mission, going through the Artist on a Mission questionnaire. And you said, hey, just want to say thank you for, putting that video out. And
it meant a lot to me. That video, I was just surfing through and happened to come across it. I had watched a couple of other videos that you have. So I stopped and watched. And then once it got started, I knew that is something I really need to do. And I got a pen and paper and I just pushed pause and play and pause and play. And I thought about it all the way through. I just had the faith that you were going to take me somewhere that I wanted to be. And I wasn't disappointed.
That's awesome. I love that. So I invited Robert to come and tell the story and, to go with him through the process of finding his mission statement. And, when he sent me that email, I'm like, hey, I have to invite Robert to the podcast here so we can chat about it. Because I think this could also help other artists, as they also going to finding their statement, trying to figure out, what is sort of work about. How do we talk about our art? Yeah, we go into our studio, we create it, we make it, we think about it, but now putting words to that is sometimes very difficult for all of us. Doesn't matter if you've been making art for 5 days or 50 years, right? It is difficult to put words into the feelings that come when we work in the studio, the ideas, the flow. It's really difficult. So we're going to chat a little bit about that. But before we actually talk about it, Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you decided to start painting?
Well, I had my first painting class actually in 8th grade. I took it was just an art class that was an elective, and I did an oil painting of a sunset. I remember the teacher helping me at the end to lighten up the glow of the mountain right behind where the sun was coming over. And that just amazed me what a difference that made. And he also helped me put a little bit of light on the horizon to just add a lot of depth. And with those two things he did, I became hooked on painting. Then I really went a different way. It was still artistic and creative, but I became a musician, classical guitar, majored in music composition in school, and then wound up, though, being a banker. And I spent 30 years in banking and finance and just kept all the creativity and the music on the side just for fun and because I love to do it. And then when COVID came in 2020, I started working from home and I started thinking about art a lot. I was seeing some of it on YouTube and I thought, I really love doing that. And I think what appeals to me about art is that if I do music and I make a tape of my song, I have to get someone who's willing to put that somewhere and play it, and then they experience it. But if I've done artwork and they simply walk in the room, they're going to experience it. It's a little more upfront and present, and that's important to me because I do it for me, but I also do it because I want others to experience what I experience. And so to have it more open like that. So I started painting in 2020, self-taught, spent a lot of time I'm an analytical thinker, so I
Okay.
attacked it like, tell me, I want to know everything about color theory. I want to know all about
Hmm.
perspective. I want to know all the rules, elements of design and composition. And I just kept gathering all of that and studying other people's work and trying to do it myself. And I was amazed at how bad my work was. Anything I did was just totally, and it never got out of the ugly stage. So, uh, and it wasn't painterly at all. I had so much I had to learn about
Hmm.
brushstrokes and just everything,
Yeah.
aerial perspective. So I really enjoy it. I'm currently semi-retired. Actually, got had been chief of senior executive at a bank for 15 years and
Hmm.
lost that position when they merged with another bank.
Okay.
So I'm still looking for something to help pay bills with,
Hmm.
but I've had more time now to work on the art.
To put in the work in the work. That's good. And what I love about your story too is that you actually in the process also you came up with your own style, which I looked at
Mhm.
your work. Now you have like this translucency, this layering of images. So we're gonna discover a little bit more about that as we, learn your your process of finding your mission statement. But just tell me a little bit how did you arrive to that style that now you're working with?
Well, I kept actually I saw a video on songwriting because I started off looking at
Okay.
YouTube videos on music
Uh-huh.
before I switched over to art. And there was a guy on there that said, you can be a great songwriter. All you have to do is use that internal mechanism you have that knows
Mhm.
if it's good or not. You have a thumb. You can go this or you can go that. And as long as, or you could go this. And
Yes.
so take a look at what you've done, be very critical, compare it to what you're hoping to be. And if your
Hmm.
answer is this or this, then just
Hmm.
keep going until you finally get that. And that applies to everything. It
Yeah.
applies to composition, design, color,
Hmm.
saturation, values, everything.
Hmm.
And you have one of those for each one of those. So I just kept going. Instead of painting 50 paintings to
Hmm.
learn how to paint, I painted the same painting 50 times and just kept going on it and realized that was good too. I realized I could make mistakes
Hmm.
and start over and just blank out that sky and start again and try. Um, so um,
So at some point you arrive into this idea of kind of overlaying the different elements in the composition.
Yes, I started once I started. I focused on Western themes,
Hmm.
Native Americans, and pioneers. There's
Yeah.
something about that period of time where people had had it rough. Everything we
Yeah.
have today is because people before us made a pathway
Right.
and they laid a foundation and we get the benefits of their blood, sweat, and tears.
Absolutely.
And so I'm very appreciative of people in the past.
Hmm.
How do I feel if we got political about what happened with the Native Americans and the loss of their land? I think that's terrible.
Right.
And actually, I want to honor them and honor that culture and help to preserve that culture. But at the same time, I include pioneers in my paintings because I'm not trying to pass any judgment on them. They went through their own hard times as well.
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to show that lifestyle and the resilience of the people and the faith that they
Super. Excellent. Well, I love that, and I think that as you continue painting and making more work, your style keeps getting stronger, stronger, and
had. Mhm.
your paintings are quite beautiful. And so let's
Thank
talk
you.
about now. The video. You arrived to this video, the artist on a
Yes,
mission. You watched it. Tell me a little bit about that, and let's get started
sure.
on the
There's
process.
actually there's a great segue between me trying to find my style
Uh-huh.
and a mission statement because the
Okay.
mission statement, I was operating off of internal feelings that were
Yes.
undefined.
Hmm.
I just knew that, well, I kind of want to do this. I feel good when I do that. I like, and this helps me feel satisfied that I've expressed something. But I never was able to put words to it to come up with a mission, which then becomes an overarching drive that helps to guide me and help me make decisions about what I'm doing. In
Right.
fact, since I've written my mission statement as a result of your video, I've thought more deeply about my purpose and what I do and how I do it.
Hmm.
And that's becoming more defined. now
Mm.
that I have an overarching statement that's kind of guiding me. So
Yeah, because now the mission, is top of mind, right? When you walk in the studio, you're
that's right.
embodying that mission now. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a mission. I'm on a mission, and
love it.
I know what I want to do. And the way I developed that mission statement was through your process. You asked three questions. Here, I've got some notes on how I
Yeah,
came
let's go to the
about
first
this.
question first. Yeah, let's see.
I'll just walk. I'll walk everybody through this. So the first question was, what unique elements define my art and differentiate it from others?
Mhm.
And what I like to do is I use a lot of transparent images, double
Yeah.
images. Like I'll take photos and that I like and put them together.
Mhm.
And then there's actually an infinite variety of way two pictures can go together. One can be bigger or smaller, and they can
Mhm.
overlap halfway, all the way, just a little bit, and all around. And
Right.
when you think about that, I do that and I play with it and I look for elements of design that are in common so
Mhm.
that I can line up lines and intersections. And I want to be able to try and hide something a little bit more so it's not readily apparent. I would
Right.
like people to see one picture, but then be drawn into it because of some complexity and then have it revealed to them that they're actually seeing more here than they
Yeah.
originally thought. And
Mhm.
then they get the story and they can see it and
Right.
understand
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And that helps engagement too. I can get people to spend more time with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
When
the
we see
elements of
something.
my art. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Go
Go,
ahead.
no, go ahead. I say when you see something that is sometimes too literal, like let's say we see a flower in our mind, we already saw the flower, right? So we stop looking and then we go somewhere else. But when in your case, when you see, let's say the one of the Indian faces, all of a sudden, like, but then you also see another element, like there's more to it. So like, as you say, it invites
That's
you
right.
in. Yeah. Hmm.
That's right. Like the most recent one I did is called Spirit Song, and
Hmm.
it's the portrait of a Native American that has feathers going straight out
Hmm.
horizontally out the back of the head. But there's also, it looks kind of like a shadow on the wall. And
Hmm.
then the closer you look, it's not. It's like the spirit of a kokopelli that's playing a flute. And that's a
Yeah.
Native American symbol that of inspiration that
Yeah.
would help to guide you and make you more productive. And
Hmm.
so if you then zoom in, you can see the flute of the kokopelli is dark and goes right behind the ear. And that's what I meant by aligning design elements.
Yeah.
It looks like a shadow of the ear.
Hmm.
And the feathers of the kokopelli look like smaller versions, maybe shadows of the feathers of his hair. So at
Yeah.
first, you don't recognize that it's actually something different. You
Hmm.
see it, but you think it's part of the same, and then you realize there's two things going on here.
Yeah.
So
So,
anyway,
how did you answer that question?
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I use transparent double images to
Hmm.
reveal indigenous people and early pioneers of America from a never before seen point of view.
Hmm. I love that.
Because with the transparencies, you've never seen that before.
Hmm.
So then the second question was, how do I want my art to resonate with and impact my audience?
Hmm.
And my answer was, I want people who see my art to experience the discovery of the images and then download an appreciation for their nobility, their dreams, their suffering, and their triumphs.
Hmm. I love that. I love
And
that.
then
And
your third question
well,
was,
before we go to the third question,
okay,
yeah, what I love about the first two questions, the first question invites us as the artist to kind of step back and look at our work, describe
mhm,
it. What are those visual elements? How it looks like. What are the elements of design or the process and the way it's made. So it allows us to take some time to look at our own work. Sometimes we're so busy in the studio making it that we don't give ourselves time to actually look
that's
at
true.
it from another point of view, to give it some time, give it some thought. If I were to, I always tell others, if you were to describe your artwork by phone, to somebody who has never seen it, how would you do it, right? And that kind of is a good
Mhm.
exercise of finding the words to explain something that somebody's not looking, perhaps have never seen before. So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's the first question. And then the second one is, okay, now how is putting your artwork into the context of today, right? What do you want people to experience, to see through that you just created? So all of a sudden now we begin to contextualize the work, the ideas into the world in which we live around us, which is great. You
Yeah,
did a good job on
and
both.
I'll tell you, answering these questions wasn't easy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like
It
you
takes time.
said, sometimes we're busy doing things, but we don't really think about it, and we don't know how to articulate it.
Right.
When I had to start thinking about what defines my art, what differentiates it from others,
Hmm.
I had to think, what am I doing? And I almost had
Yeah.
to look at my art to figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, and then how do I want it to resonate? I had to kind of go into my heart. What do I really desire for other people that see my art?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I had never articulated that before. I
Right.
think it was there. It
Hmm.
was an urge. It was like an unspoken urgency, but not defined
Yeah, and
until
I
I.
love that you come also from the music background too, since you love music. Because in music,
Mhm.
there are certain emotions that a song or a rhythm you can evoke, right? Something that can make
Yes,
me like jump in excitement, or can actually soothe me down. And so there's a language, right,
exactly.
that is not
Yeah.
seen, is heard. In our case as artists, there's a language also, but it is visual,
Hmm.
without words. It's through our colors, through our images, through our imagery, through the elements that we put together. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a tremendous,
it's that.
a lot in common,
Hmm.
even though they're very different.
Right.
Yep.
Excellent. Let's go to the
Your
third question. Let's see.
third question. The question was, what enduring mark do I want to leave upon the art world or society? And my answer was, I want people to appreciate what others have given them.
Mm.
And it's that simple.
Yeah.
It now it goes beyond the Western theme.
Hmm.
It's broader than that.
Yeah.
But in this case, I happen to have an affinity for what they had gone through. I read a novel one time that
Uh-huh.
painted the picture so well of having no electricity or heat or water, and how painful it was to just get through a day
Mm.
for some of these people in the elements that they were exposed to, and let
Yeah.
alone be productive and have goals and have a future and build a city and things like that. Just surviving would be
Just right.
hard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'd make it.
No,
So,
and I think this last question, is a question of intention, right? At the end, what
yes,
is our intent as artists, right? What is the mark that we're leaving behind?
right. So
And I think
I
it's a
appreciate
great
what
question.
others gave me. I
Hmm.
want people to appreciate what they have
Hmm.
been given.
Yeah. So how
So,
do you, now putting it all together outside of the questions? Did you also try to summarize it even further? I think your answers were really good. That they're very concise. You didn't go into like circles and trying to over explain, but rather
yeah, at first
simplify
they
and
were
go to the.
longer, but I tried to come up with a concise answer for each question. And then I went to,
Uh-huh.
I used Copilot for my
Copilot. Okay.
AI.
Hmm.
And I went in and I wrote it out. I said, write a mission statement for me as an artist based
Hmm.
on my answers to the following three questions. And then
Love
I
it.
asked the question and gave the answer. And here's what I got back.
Hmm.
It said, through transparent double images, I unveil the hidden narratives of indigenous people and early pioneers of America. My art invites viewers to explore these untold stories, fostering an appreciation for their nobility, dreams, suffering, and triumphs. Ultimately, I aspire to leave an enduring mark by encouraging people to recognize and honor the contributions of others.
I love that. That is very cool.
I know it's so well written that I wish I had written
There you go.
that.
You got your art statement. It comes
So
from your
then I did
observations and
what
your ideas.
you suggested to
Yeah.
do. I turned right around and I said, "I this is what I told Copilot." I said, "I
Okay.
like that. Thank you. Please rewrite to make it shorter."
Okay. Yes.
And so I wanted it to be one sentence, and it said, unveiling hidden narratives through transparent double images, I honor the nobility, dreams, suffering, and triumphs of indigenous people and early pioneers. Well, I wasn't quite happy with that because it left some things out. So
Yeah.
then I said, please give me five more versions. And
Okay.
it went
Yes.
boom, 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 boom. And then I won't read all those to you, but then when I finally picked out everything I liked and could keep it into one sentence, I came up with my mission statement, which is,
Hmm.
my mission is to create invitations to transparent perspectives commemorating the resilience of indigenous people and Western pioneers.
I love that. That is
I do
really cool.
too. And every time I'm working now, I can ask myself, have I created an invitation? Is this something people want
Exactly.
to enter into? And it needs to be a pathway through those transparent images
Hmm.
into some kind of new perspective on that
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
And once they get there and they see that, I want them to have an appreciation for what people went through.
I love it. And I think the power also of the mission is that a mission gives you a marker, right? To ask
Hmm.
yourself the question, in this work, have I achieved, what my mission is? Or am I just going in a totally opposite direction, which is okay. Sometimes we go in opposite direction and then we need to figure out our words for that new direction. But it gives you a point of reference, right? To say,
Hmm.
have I achieved, if my mission, my goal is to do X, Y, and Z, have I actually accomplished it in this piece? Am I actually going in that direction? And I think that is
Yes,
the value of it. It gives us a North Star to start the journey.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a North Star for the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a North Star for when you're thinking creatively. You can
Mm-hmm.
have all these random ideas, but only a certain ones will filter now through your mission to
Yeah.
be actionable. And the rest of them are just good ideas, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily fit with your mission. And so that I think is a key part to developing your style as an artist is
Mm-hmm.
having this mission statement.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that, and I went through the same process I explained on that video too. And I love what I love about working with AI, either ChatGPT or Copilot or any of the other ones that are out there. There's many right now. Is that you're still using your own ideas,
Hmm.
and all the AI is doing is just working with your thoughts so that
Right.
it gives you a more concise statement that people can understand easily without having to use so much words and verbiage and get people lost in the mix.
It's a
And
tremendous tool.
yeah, it's an amazing tool because you can do, now that you have that little bit of a longer one, you can do the refined short one. You can actually ask it to do, okay, from this longer one, give me one that is very easy to understand for you know third graders, because I'm going
There
to
you
do a
go.
presentation to kids. So
Right.
it can do it, right? It can simplify those words for third graders. Or you say, I'm going to do a
Hmm.
presentation for CEOs, and I really need something that it's got a nice punch. So it can do that, using what you already answered through those questions. Is your thoughts, your ideas. Now the AI is only helping us to create communication in a way that people can understand it better. And that's why I
Hmm.
love technology when it's used to help us versus to replace us, right? Uh,
Yes.
and I think in this case, using it to help us communicate better after we have already expressed our thoughts and ideas, it's a great tool. And I think is one that you can use. That you can now create from that statement. Say, hey, help me to write a letter of gratitude to my subscribers. My email, or
Hmm.
things like
Hmm.
that. There's an infinite number of things we can do now that you have that statement.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've used it quite a bit more since then too for
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah.
I'll throw some text out that I've written, and I just say, please keep the intent the same. Just edit it for clarity
Hmm.
and for typographical and
Hmm.
grammatical errors, and you can really control what degree of change you're
Exactly.
getting, and you can always have it redo something if you want to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a great tool if you use it like that.
Exactly. And as our work also changes, we can go back and revisit those three questions and say, you know what, maybe now my work has evolved over time. Now my
Hmm.
answer is different. So you can go back and, re submit that and have, something that's similar, but it reflects your new work, or what you are doing at the moment, because as artists, we are always experimenting and trying new things, and sometimes those experimentations brings us into a new discovery, like, oh wow, I want to go in that route, and our work
Right.
begins to change.
Our mission statements need to be alive just the way we
Exactly.
are. We're
Exactly.
changing and we have different emerging personalities and goals and different attributes, and so does our mission statement need to change with us. It's basically our North Star, but it's put there by us.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
absolutely. So as we begin to wrap it up, Robert, and for our friends here, so do you feel now that you have this mission statement, do you feel that it has made you better when you walk in your studio?
Yeah, it's made all the difference in the world to me. I'm really grateful to you. That's why I wanted to just reach out and write you an email to
Thank you.
let you know that something you've done really touched somebody and in a good positive way, and it's kind of put me on a track that I feel real satisfied with now when I do something.
Excellent. I love it. Well, Robert, thank you so much for sharing, for sending that email, taking the time to
Sure.
actually sending that image, and then for accepting my invitation to come here and share with your friends. And we're going to put a link to that episode. It's a little YouTube episode where you can just follow it along, just as Robert did, and
Okay.
I did too, and answer those questions, go through it. You'll be surprised, perhaps, if you haven't done it in a while, how good, that can be for you, for your own career. For giving you a sense of purpose, a sense of direction in your art. And that makes a whole difference, when we have more clarity in our mind as we talk about our art, as we share with others, and as we make the art as well. So, Robert, for our friends who would like to see your beautiful paintings, where can they go?
You can go to my website is robertbek.com. That's BEK. There's no C in the last name. And on Instagram, it's Robert Bek Fine Art.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate you. Thank you to our friends. Do us a big favor, Robert and I. We will be very happy if you also share this episode with your friends, tag us in your post, let us know how you liked it. And if you also tried, going through that Artist on a Mission framework and you have something that you really like, let us know in the comments. We would love to see it as well.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great time. I appreciate you inviting me on. It was very nice to meet you, and I look forward to continuing on a mission.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, my friends. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Okay.
But wait, before you leave this video, if you are an artist who wants to grow your art career and wants to achieve greater success, make sure you check out the Art Next Level program. You will find a link under this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the next video that we have recommended just for you.